The late President, Captain Thomas Sankara, told us to dare to invent the future. This morning, we are gathered to write a new chapter of our history. A new chapter because we had been advised, but we didn't listen. Others dared, but we didn't support them. And we are restarting the machine once again this time. So, as our predecessors have said, we have noticed that the economic model imposed on us for the past few decades does not bear fruit. We thought that we couldn't be imposed a way to develop ourselves because those ways don't fit us at all with our vision, with our community, our society. I think that between you and me, our countries have spent time going into debt and never be able to again to finance ourselves, to invest in key areas, to the point that today, so we take out loans to pay off loans. How can we develop in this context? And it's normal that these institutions that lend us money don't want or wish for us to be able to get out of this. If I lend you money with interest, it's only normal that I do everything I can to make sure that money doesn't help you get rid of me. And so that poses a problem. So we also thought about it and asked ourselves a lot of questions. How can we have so many low points? Rich in land, and yet we continue to import, for example, rice. How can we produce tomatoes that people come to buy at a low price, and yet we still re-import tomato paste? How can we produce products like soy, sesame, and many other oil seeds? We export them, but we re-import oil. This system that we will call imperialist only enriches the small minority that we call the bourgeoisie and impoverishes the popular masses. So there is an imbalance that has gradually led us to what we know today as terrorism, a phenomenon created, invented, but one that has gained acceptance, and invented but which gained the support of a good part of the Burkina. Because having no choice due to poverty, they got involved. We believe that this new chapter that is unfolding and being written this morning should be able to address many problems that we know, whether it is youth employment or even this phenomenon of terrorism. I was saying earlier that the predecessors such as the Minister of the Economy of the city, Joseph Kizerbo, whether it be Sheikh Anta Diop or Sulama, all advocated what we call endogenous and inclusive development. But perhaps we did not understand the meaning of everything they were telling us. And later, the late President, Captain Thomas Sankara, told us to dare to invent the future. Perhaps we did not understand the message at the time. He further added, let us produce what we need. Let us transform it and consume what we produce. We believe that we have this capability and how to achieve it. We will not achieve it with a system that was imposed on us. So it was necessary to create, it was necessary to invent. While reading, we also saw in the political program of a prominent politician who is present here. In the room, I named Professor Laurent Fada, who spent his time reminding us that we needed to make endogenous development the lever of our economic foundation. Misunderstood, or I don't know how to qualify it. We decided to put into practice everything our predecessors advised us and that we did not want to. Perhaps listen, answer, or understand. That is why, in February, we decided to create the agency for the promotion of community entrepreneurship. This agency, the work it will do, the agency must join a work that the Ministry of Youth and Employment is also developing. If you have followed recently, we launched in FADA. The offices must be set up in our universities to try to redirect our students towards employment, training for employment. Here, this morning, we are here to make a call to all Burkinabés, whether they are on the territory or in the diaspora, to massively subscribe to this project. Because the future of Burkina, let's not dream, it will not come from elsewhere. It is we who must invent it. It is we who must create this future, maintain it, and make it our own. I therefore invite everyone to massively subscribe to allow us to create our businesses, to take ownership of our businesses. And by the way, I think that is how we will better maintain them. And who else would be able to work in these businesses but ourselves? That is why the Ministry of Youth is also striving to guide, because the reform that will follow, it is about reforming the system. When I was just listening to the clip, I heard you laugh at the student's comment. That means a lot of things. We need to channel people towards professional employment. These businesses, these factories, this mechanization of agriculture, there is no one better than us who can train ourselves in certain specific fields to maintain all the machinery that will be there to produce everything we need and to work in these businesses. So, that is why these two must go hand in hand. The project of the Ministry of Youth and APEC. The PEC has called upon a cooperative society that has proven itself, that has good experience in the field and with whom we have exchanged ideas, so that it can accompany and support in a patriotic effort for Burkina Faso to transition to a new economic model. And above all, I think that this initiative, as I was saying, is a lever to fight against terrorism. Because as long as young people are not employed, as long as they are idle, they will be subject to all temptation to take the easy way, to seek other solutions. And this can lead to major crime and the terrorism that we know. Therefore, it is about being able to employ as many young people as possible in production, in processing, and now in marketing. Because it is not up to us to import what we consume, but for Burkina to be able to export. The chosen fields are quite illustrative. It is therefore about producing, processing certain materials, and also exploiting our resources ourselves. Because this youth is hardworking. When we take a tour of the artisanal sites, we see them diving into in the depths of the earth without safety equipment, without worry, in search of gold. We think we can mechanize the field, provide some improvement, and be able to produce our own gold ourselves. On this we will not be long. These are some examples, some explanations to show everyone who might be hesitant or those who haven't understood that we are going to subscribe massively. Kashi, we are going to take our destiny into account, because that's where this phrase makes perfect sense. And we will evolve towards a future. Farewell. And I am counting on all those, the Burkinabés from inside and outside, for a massive subscription so that before the end of the year, new factories, new companies will spring up from the land for the benefit of all Burkinabés. The homeland or death, death.